welcome to All Steelers Talk, your home for everything Pittsburgh Steelers, presented by allsteelers.com. What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strack. I'm joined every Tuesday and Thursday by my main man, Donnie Droon. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk or anywhere you get your podcasts. And today, we're talking about how Diontae Johnson isn't getting paid. And on top of that, while we might not share the same opinion, a former Steelers linebacker has words to say about Kenny Pickett and the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation. Donnie, it's been raining all day, of course, because I washed the truck yesterday, obviously.
Typical.
Yeah. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling great. If anybody notices, I slammed my finger into my car door over the weekend. So if you guys see something black and blue on the screen, it's probably my finger. 10 out of 10 do not recommend being a moron like I was. So
that's impressive. How'd you slam your finger in your door?
Wasn't even paying attention. I usually like to I got out of the car, right, and I was like closing the door behind me talking to somebody and just shut it behind me, and like the car door fully closed in on my finger too. It wasn't like it caught on the way in, like it fully shut with my finger inside of it. Top 5 worst pain I've ever been in.
Wow, that's terrible. You always got to wonder how that doesn't rip fingers off.
Dude, it started gushing blood everywhere. It was crazy, dude. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I guess it could be worse than washing your car yesterday and it raining today. So shout out to that. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on to All Steelers Talk. Donnie, let's talk Diontae Johnson. Mm-hmm. According to Mark Caboli of The Athletic, he doesn't believe Diontae Johnson's going to get paid $20 million plus per season by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He answered that in his weekly mailbag, or his most recent mailbag. Then on top of that, Bleacher Report tosses out a trade speculation to send Diontae to Dallas for a second-round pick. Let's start with Caboli.
Mm-hmm.
Says that he doesn't believe he's getting paid $20 million, but he will get paid much more elsewhere next offseason. Do you think that's all starting to come to fruition here?
No, I still think it's really early in the offseason to kind of make declarations like that. But then again, I feel like Capoli, if anybody has a grip on what's going on within the Steelers organization, you'll be hard pressed to find people, I guess, more plugged in than he is.
Yeah.
He's a very likable guy. I know a lot of Steeler fans don't like him for whatever reason. A lot of people tend to throw some hate his way, but I met him at the NFL Combine. He was phenomenal. I wish I could follow that dude around with a GoPro for my entire life. He's a walking enigma, bro.
I do tend to follow Caboli around pretty much every single day.
So if anybody has a solid idea of what the Steelers are going to do, I feel like it's probably going to be him among some other prominent journalists in the Pittsburgh area. If Caboli says it, normally I like to take that word to the grave. So for the Steelers to reportedly not be wanting to pay him $20 million a year, I certainly buy it. And we've had this conversation plenty of times, earlier in the offseason. Will they or will they not? Should they or should they not? A couple weeks ago, you made me make a bold prediction that I said that they will reach a deal with Diontae before the season starts. That very well couldn't happen. If a plugged-in guy like him says Diontae isn't going to get $20 million from the Steelers, I would tend to believe that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's something we were all talking about. I don't think it's changed much of the narrative because I don't think that anybody at any point said the Steelers were going to pay him $20+ million. They should, and he's going to get 20+. There's no way Diontae's hanging out for $16 million a year. It's just not happening. I could see one thing if it was Ben, if it was Ben Roethlisberger and he had 8 more years left and you were looking at it we could win 2 more Super Bowls here and I could be a part of this. Maybe you're taking $17, $18 million. But for Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, you're not taking $17, $18 million when chances are you could go somewhere else and get 22 because even a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, Diontae Johnson and the Kansas City Chiefs, it's not like the Chiefs got rid of Tyreek Hill because they didn't want to offer him a boatload of money. He just wanted out of there. I don't know why, but he just wanted
Well, no,
out.
he did want a boatload of money, and the Chiefs were like, "Yeah, we're cool."
Yeah, but they offered him a
He wanted
boatload of money. They didn't offer him $30 million, but they offered him a boatload of money. Didn't they offer
he
him enough to
wanted
make
$30
him the
million.
highest
That's
paid?
the problem.
Yeah, I know. But if Diontae wants 22 and they were willing to offer 28, 22 is a discount for a great receiver, not Tyreek Hill, obviously.
How
But
far away do you think these guys are on a potential contract extension? Like the Steelers and Diontae, like, do you think it's like drastic amounts, or do you think this is probably just a game of like who's going to budge first between Deontay's camp and the Steelers front office?
I don't know. That's tough because I want to say the number that I've thought this entire time for the Pittsburgh Steelers is $18 million. That's how I've looked at it the whole time. I think the Steelers are going to stick at 18, and I don't think they're going to go over. 18 is a good number in my head. It keeps you just outside the top 15, just below 20 million. It's a very reasonable wide receiver market. I don't know if Diontae is going to take 18, though. Because if you're Diontae Johnson at this point, you're looking at it going, next year I can make 25. I don't even have to make 20. I can make 25 a year and probably get a boatload of guaranteed money if I leave the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think that's like that he wants that to happen. He'd rather that be in Pittsburgh, but financially, I don't know. I would say that it's growing. I would predict that it's growing more distant than closer as the market continues to rise.
See, I'm very pro player whenever it comes to these kind of things. So, like
100%.
Deontay's not holding out. Like he's done nothing malicious towards the team. Like nothing of that nature. Like he's going to play this year under whatever contract he's on, whether it's a new one or his current one. Next offseason obviously is going to be a different story, but like if you're this young and you have the opportunity to make as much money as possible, go make as much money as possible. I do not fault him or pretty much any other player in the NFL for trying to get as much dough as he possibly can, because it can all be gone tomorrow.
Yep, exactly. Look if you have an opportunity to make $25 million next season, go make $25 million next season. If it was me, if it was you, if it was anybody else, nobody be sitting around going, man, I don't know, dude. The team that drafted me, they're going to give me 18. Got to take that home distance. Like, no, I'm going to get $25 million. If it's a team that's competitive, that keeps me in the realm of a possibility for a Super Bowl, which the Steelers don't have that right now, I'm taking the money. Easy. Like for almost every single time. So I don't think that's, I don't know. I think anybody who's looking at it differently than that is not.
If this was like a Packers situation to where like, hey, one last dance, we're running the back, let's go make a push for a Super Bowl.
If it was, that's what I mean. If it was Ben, that's like a different story. But you're walking into this season and everybody and their mother saying, "Oh, the Steelers are going to stink." I don't believe the Steelers are going to stink, but you've so many question marks that's a possibility. And if you stink this season and Diontae doesn't sign, but he has a great season, what's keeping him around? Not a Super Bowl. Not a winning football team.
Well, let's also look at it from the Steelers' perspective as well, because you have Chase Claypool, who you are hoping kind of is able to capitalize on his potential. You have George Pickens, who looks phenomenal from the early reports we saw from OTA, so hopefully he could be something. And then Calvin Austin, too, on top of a couple of other handful of receivers some people think can emerge in training camp. If you're operating with that receiving core, does Diontae deserve $20 million? Yeah, sure, he deserves $20 million. But, I mean, as an organization, would you feel inclined to pay him that money if you already have a solid couple other receivers on the roster? I don't agree with the standpoint, but I do understand from running a football team how paying Diontae Johnson more than $20 million per year would exactly be the most enticing option for you.
Yeah, and we've talked like every single angle of this 100 times. But I said this the other day in a to-go episode. Chase Claypool is the biggest factor because he obviously has the most upside in Pittsburgh. There's nobody in Pittsburgh. I guess now George Pickens could be considered that guy, but Chase Claypool has the upside of any wide receiver in the NFL, whereas Deontay's upside is limited. You know, he could be a great wide receiver. I truly believe he could be one of the best wide receivers in football in a couple of years. Chase has the potential to be the best wide receiver in football. He's built like the best. He's got all the physical attributes, the whole nine. You're taking a huge risk, a huge, huge risk to say Chase Claypool is our guy. Because if he stinks this season and he isn't your guy, and Diontae Johnson has an incredible year, what if Diontae Johnson becomes Stephon Diggs this season? Which isn't out of the realm of possibilities. What if he becomes Stephon Diggs this season and you waited because you wanted to see what Chase Claypool turned into, and Chase Claypool did nothing impressive? Now you're sitting around thinking, wow, we have to get Diontae Johnson locked in, and your options are either to pay him $25 million or move on because Diontae is going to be worth $25 million. Again, it's so many what ifs. Like at this point, it's so many what ifs. But there is the big question of whether or not we believe that's starting to come to fruition. I think to a little bit it is, but I don't know. When it comes to Bleacher Report, tossing a second-round pick out there to the Dallas Cowboys, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you comfortable taking a second-round pick? And does it make any sense to even acknowledge a trade possibility with Diontae Johnson?
Right now, no. Not at all. After the season, certainly. But I mean, you're getting to real kind of murky territory with him, like getting ready to hit free agency. My thing is, you don't draft a guy like Diontae Johnson, build him up, and kind of watch him grow into the dynamic receiver he can be, to ship him away and then hope you find another Diontae Johnson. Like the draft is such a crapshoot year in and year out. And I get like the Steelers have drafted a bunch of great receivers in their history. They've also missed on a couple guys too. Like, let's not act like every pass catcher from Dre Archer to Dallas Baker, and you can even bring up James Washington as another example. Like, those guys didn't exactly live up to their billing. And I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting of off the top of my head. Lima Swede. A lot of people remember Lima Swede.
Everybody remembers Lima Swede.
So for every Diontae Johnson they find as in like a diamond in the rough, there's also a couple of those other guys that they find. And that's it. That's not like the Steelers' fault. That's just how the NFL draft works. You hit some and you don't hit others. Why get rid of Diontae Johnson and hope you can find his replacement if you already have a capable receiver like him? And it just makes no sense. But I do like how we're tying this together, though, because if you're the Steelers and you do not plan on bringing him back, if you can find a way to, say, lock him in for another season, I'm not sure what the cap looks like if you franchise tag him next year. I'm not sure what the trade possibilities look like. But, I mean, if you don't plan on keeping him long term, you're not winning the Super Bowl this year. I think everybody kind of already has accepted that, barring just crazy run from whoever plays at quarterback. Second round pick for Diontae Johnson, I feel like is very, very good value.
Yeah, I don't know what the cap hit would look like. I guess they could pull that off next season to tag and trade. That's their only, like, you can't walk into this season saying we could walk in without Diontae Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't. You can't do that, you know, unless you're just pulling a whole rebuild and saying, okay, this is the year we fix everything and then next year we'll be good. Unless that's the option, you can't. Diontae Johnson's still your best wide receiver by a mile.
Oh, for sure.
You know, you can't, just because there's all this going around and there's all these headlines doesn't mean that he can't be your number one receiver walking into the season. Even if he makes $3 million this year, he's still your number one guy.
Well, I like what you said like earlier, like in the offseason. The Steelers don't rebuild. They are not interested in taking a down year to kind of get their stuff together and load up on draft picks or, you know, whatever the Jaguars might be doing at this particular time. They're invested in winning, and Diontae Johnson on their football team gives them the best chance of winning.
Yeah, easy.
But if they were to shop him, I feel like a second round pick to a team outside of the AFC conference, you could do a lot worse than that.
Do you think you could get a first round for Diontae Johnson?
No.
I
don't think Diontae has yet put up the numbers and kind of like the eye popping. Wow, like this guy is a bona fide, no doubts left playmaker at the wide receiver position. That and like wide receivers aren't like super crazy valued.
Yeah,
Like
but this
like
offseason they've been.
well, in
Everybody
terms
and
of
their mother's going
contracts,
for
yeah, but like whenever like
crazy.
trading for them, no.
Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. I know that's a whole other category. I get
That's
that.
a whole dude. That's a stratosphere
Do you
away
think
from
that
Diontae.
Yeah, but their trades were wild. Like it was way more than a first round pick. Do you think that Terry McLaurin would go for a first round pick?
No, I don't think so. But I will say, for whatever reason, because last week we compared their numbers, and I mean, they had very, very identical resumes. There seems to be like a such like a brighter light shown on Terry McLaurin whenever like
That's what I mean,
national
yeah.
people talk about him. Like, dude, people love Terry McLaurin, and like I get it. I love Terry McLaurin too. He's a phenomenal football player. But for whatever reason, whenever you talk about Diontae Johnson on the national level, the drops get brought up, the mental mishaps get brought up, and it's like, okay, well, I get it, but at the same time, like if he has all of this stuff going on and he's putting up pretty similar numbers to Terry McLaurin, some stats are better than others compared to McLaurin whenever you look at them actually. If he could just fix whatever's going on, get rid of the drop issues, I mean he'll be solid. He'll be phenomenal.
I don't understand where that came from. I want to say part of it is like the same, like the TJ Watt effect, where nobody paid attention to the Steelers because they just weren't doing anything exciting. So everybody just kind of And then the year before, Diontae had the drop issues, and they actually were exciting. So that's all they remember. I don't know how many people watched Steelers games last season, but everybody in Steelers Nation understands the value of Diontae Johnson. Half of them don't want to give him that value, which is a fine argument, but they understand what his value is. I just think it's just the national media when it comes to the Steelers is rough.
Oh, for sure.
Might be the worst out there. All right, let's talk Kenny Pickett and a former Steelers linebacker. See your opinion on that one. But first, a word from our boys at Manscaped. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Got Bush? You definitely do if you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor, Manscaped. Taking control of your bush is important. These products are so good, you're going to be showing pride in your new bush-free yard. It's a fact that you will have the best kept nutsack in the cul-de-sac. Save big and be the most hygienic version of yourself by using our discount code ALLSteelers for 20% off plus free shipping. Whether you're looking to go bald like an eagle or just in need for a safe trim, Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game. The grooming package I highly recommend is the Performance Package 4.0. Inside this package is the Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is a bush's worst nightmare. This trimmer is designed to reduce grooming accidents and shave hair on loose skin thanks to a ceramic blade and advanced skin-safe technology. No need for night vision goggles. This trimmer has an LED light to allow you to mow the lawn in the dark. It's basic landscaping. When you trim the hedges, the tree stands taller. Second best tool in the performance package is the Weed Whacker. This fine-tuned nose and ear hair trimmer will make sure your nasty nose pubes are under control. Instantly add some pep in your step with the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Spray-On Testy Toner. With a performance package purchase, you get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag and the patented high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped Boxers. They have a bunch of other products on their website to help you maximize your confidence and grooming game. Get 20% off plus free shipping with our code ALLSteelers at manscaped.com. Kate Bush may be trending at the moment, but your bush needs some help. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use our code ALLSteelers. It's time to level up from the Amazon to the Amadong with the ultimate bushwhacking tools from Manscaped. Gotcha on that one, huh? Right at the end. They always get you right at the end.
Real talk.
Who's Kate Bush?
Fellas, do not mow the lawn in the dark. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Why? Kate Bush? Are we? Oh, Stranger Things. Gotcha. I was like,
Bro, I've
who
heard
is
that's a
Kate Bush?
phenomenal show. Never watched it.
I'm on season 2. It is
Is it good?
impeccable. It's really good. The problem is that my fiance just finished, and I had to avoid contact at all costs, and I'm 3 seasons
Are
behind.
you a couple that does not watch shows together?
We watch some shows together, but I jumped in on Stranger Things late. You want to know a show we get real into together that just dropped a new season? Alone. It's about these people that they just toss in the Arctic for 50 days to go win $500,000. They got to film it themselves and everything. It's crazy. It's amazing. I would die instantly.
Is there a previous season of that? Because I've watched like a similar
Yeah.
series on Netflix.
I think it's like season 8 or something. It's so good, dude. You get so
sure.
emotionally attached. Yeah. No, we do watch shows together. This one I was just late on, but I'll catch up. Everybody talks about it. I was actually on the fan the other day, and they're like, "You watching Stranger Things?" I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, just finished." Lied to everybody, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's talk some Kenny Pickett here. Over the weekend, or I guess it was on the 4th of July, former Steelers linebacker James Ferrier commented below a tweet from the very own Mark Caboli about Kenny Pickett. Caboli goes, it was obviously the meme of what's his name from ESPN.
Brian Windhorst.
That guy. Why did Kenny Pickett take nothing but third team snaps at OTAs? Shrug guy. James Ferrier. He's a third team QB. We have different opinions on this. I'm going to let you go first because I would like to see how you view the words of James Ferrier.
Yeah, man, I don't think he meant anything like menacingly by this. I don't even think that's a word. What I just said, menacingly.
Menacing, yeah, maybe.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't think there was no like foul intentions with that. I just think he was saying for the meantime, right now, he's a third string quarterback because he's behind Mitch Trubisky and he's behind Mason Rudolph in the pecking order. James Ferrier is a veteran in the NFL. He played many years in the league, many of those with the Steelers. After I believe he was undrafted, right? And then he played for Detroit for a little bit.
Yep.
I have to brush up on my history after this, but played a long time, knows what it takes to play in the league for a very long time. And a lot of those NFL guys are like, hey, man, like, just because you were drafted in the first round, just because you play quarterback, does not mean you're an immediate starter. It does not mean you're an impact player right away. You have to earn your stripes.
He was a first-round pick, actually.
Was he? Dude, no shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, to the Jets. To the Jets.
For the
Not
Jets,
even
dude,
close.
I am all over the place today, bro.
Yeah, close.
Wow. I don't think there was. I think he's just calling it like it was. I don't think he was saying Kenny Pickett was trash. I don't think he was saying Kenny Pickett is this garbage quarterback the Steelers shouldn't have taken. I think he was pointing out, hey, bro, at this moment in time, you're a third string quarterback behind Trubisky and Rudolph. You need to go out and you need to prove that you are not.
Okay. I respect. Look at I get every word of that. I don't want to say disagree, but I see where you're coming from. I took it clearly as James Ferrier is not a big fan of Kenny Pickett. There's little context behind that, obviously. It's the explanation point, you know? It's the explanation point. He's a third team QB. Like, I think that if it was another, like, what if this was Ben? What if Ben was taking third string? Would somebody be like, he's a third string QB until proven otherwise? No, probably not. They'd be like, well, he was like the 11th pick in the draft. 20th?
Pickett was still a first round pick.
He was. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I feel like Pickett doesn't get the first round respect that a lot of quarterbacks get because this quarterback class was terrible. I'll acknowledge that. A lot of questions, but I took it as James Ferrier is part of the group that says Kenny Pickett ain't it, man. And I don't know what we're doing here because Kenny Pickett ain't it. And I think a lot of people felt that way. I think a lot
Dude,
of people.
I have no doubt a lot of people read that tweet and was like, okay, I get it. Cheers.
Like you get it as in.
I understand how people would perceive that tweet. I just personally, I just saw it and I'm like, all right, cool. That's an NFL veteran being a cold-blooded, you know what? Earn
See,
your
but I
stripes,
get
kid.
that. That didn't pop in my head at first. That hasn't popped in my head until you said that, actually. So I understand where you're coming from. Maybe that is what he meant by it. I still don't. I mean, dude, you could toss Chris Oladokun out there and remove Kenny Pickett, and I'm still going to be like, he's a second-string quarterback, man. I don't know why Mason Rudolph's even still around. What are we doing here? What are we even talking about? I don't know. In my head, Mason Rudolph hasn't proven nothing.
I think Donald is correct because Tommy Maddox got hurt week 2 against the Ravens.
Week 1.
No, week 1 they won against the Raiders off a game-winning field goal, I believe.
No.
Week 2 they were in Baltimore.
To the Patriots.
In 2004? No, because they beat the Patriots later that year in 2004. That was part of Ben's undefeated run in the regular season.
No, I don't believe so.
I bet you $100 right now they beat the Patriots on Halloween in 2004.
When was that? 2004?
The 2004 regular season.
All right.
Week 1 was the Raiders and week 2 was the Ravens.
Did you already look it up?
No, it's just I grew up worshiping Big Ben.
You are correct there. Not on Halloween, but you are correct. Maybe on Halloween. Yep, on Halloween. Oh, they did. Oh, yeah, they did lose to Baltimore. Good thing we didn't shake on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but but would he be tweeting that same thing? And just for, dude, Donald knows his stuff, man. Just people jumping in late. James Ferry tweeted out a little something about Kenny Pickett. He's a third string QB after Kaboli tweeted this. Take it from two different sides. It is what it is. All right. Do you think that Ben would have gotten the same analysis? That's all I'm asking. I'm not trying to stir the pot. Just a general question.
From an NFL veteran like James Ferrier, probably.
Okay.
I just think that's the NFL player in him. I just think that's the seasoned veteran saying, hey, like right now you're a third string quarterback. You're behind Trubisky. You're behind Rudolph. It is what it is. It's just a pecking order right now. A lot of those guys are very adamant on, especially rookies, and especially rookie quarterbacks, earning their way into the starting position. Like
True.
Nothing should be handed to anybody in their eyes, and I agree with them.
True. I don't disagree. You know, I think I'm not gonna say it. I'm like I said, like I've been saying, I'm trying to not be a jerk on this podcast.
Oh, for sure.
I'm trying to, aim
Shout
back
out to Benny.
Shout out to Benny Snell. Yeah. A lot of people have been calling me out about if Mason Rudolph ever watched the show, he'd probably try to fight me in the locker room. It is what it is. But that's why I'm gonna pull back my comments on Mason, and we're gonna move forward a little bit. All right, before we head out of here, we got about a month, 21 days until players report to training camp at St. Vincent College. Plenty of time for things to happen. The question is, what? Got 21 days, three weeks exactly. What do you expect the Steelers' biggest headline to be in the next, like I said, 3 weeks?
I expect it to be somewhere positioned around like the quarterback competition. You would hope so, even though I think hasn't there been like a bunch of reports of Trubisky kind of walking into training camp as the quarterback one, and it's going to take a lot for Pickett to dethrone him.
Yeah, according to Canada, the plan for at least the time being is Trubisky is the one until proven otherwise.
So I get it, but I mean, you have a first-round quarterback in Pittsburgh for the first time in a very long time. So there's going to be expectations, like, and regardless if he's with the first, second, or third string, like he's going to have to make plays, and all eyes are going to be him and Latrobe. And I think it'll be a very good kind of welcoming for Kenny Pickett at the NFL level, because I don't think Steelers training camp is a lot like other training camps. I've been to the training camp out here with the Arizona Cardinals, both as a fan and just like covering the team last year. Latrobe's different, bro. Like Steeler fans and Latrobe, like it's a whole different level of just like passion and like admiration for those guys. So hopefully he takes everything in stride. I'm sure there might be a little bit of rookie hazing, super common in the NFL whenever it comes to training camp. So hoping for some good stories for you to come out of that whenever you talk to those guys. But quarterback, not even controversy, but it's just like competition. What Kenny Pickett looks like is definitely my pick for the storyline to emerge. But I would not be upset if we heard very, very good things about the offensive line, because I think that will ultimately determine whether or not the Steelers are going to be a wild card team or it's just like a middle of the road team.
All righty. I like them both.
All right, Jeff. I like that, Jeff.
So those are definitely the highlights of camp. I would say before camp, what we're looking for, biggest headlines, Chris Boswell's got to get signed. I think that'll happen relatively soon. I think it'll happen closer to the return of camp, because players will start coming back to Pittsburgh. Then they'll start negotiating. And I don't think that negotiation is going to – like if you're Chris Boswell, you're walking into Rooney's office or Omar Khan's office and just being like, what's up, man? And Omar's going to be like $4.5 million. And he'd be like, yep, sounds good to me. Have a good one. And you're going to leave because that's what you're worth. That's what they know you're worth. Move on. Take it. Go ahead. I can also see a couple of other things starting to emerge, but nothing significant. I could see reports of outside linebackers starting to hit as we get closer to camp. There's not going to be the cut date. And like, I get the cut date. Like if you're going to wait and just sign a superstar that gets dropped from a team, I understand that. But I think that the list that's out there right now is still pretty substantial and a list that you could pick somebody off of, and it could be a pretty good power move. I don't like Derek Tushka going in there as the number 2 or number 3 outside of Jannard Avery, who hasn't practiced yet. So I think that we'll start to see a heat up in those, I will say, rumors heading in. And then I think at some point it will come out that Diontae Johnson's time in Pittsburgh will end after the season. I think that
interesting.
I think that will happen. I don't think that negotiations are going to go well. I think that I don't know if it's going to be super serious, but I think that at some point you'll get somebody, whether it's a Schefter or a Fowler or whoever, saying that the Steelers are not close to Diontae's number. It just is what it is,
Bro, really quick, the amount of sources that Schefter has is absolutely wild. Because I remember you telling me a couple stories about how like journalists are not allowed to tweet anything about what happened at like Steelers practice, and then you go and look at your phone. Adam Schefter tweeted about a certain player having something happen to him at practice.
10 seconds into practice, that Juju wasn't practicing. And I was like, well, we all know that, but this practice just started. How did you know this?
Dude, I was at a Cardinals practice last year, and like something happened with one of the players, and then like we all walked back inside to the media room. Schefter had already tweeted about it.
I don't know. I don't understand how he does it.
Cannot explain it.
No, me neither. But I've heard that's a difficult life, and what I'm all about. But we'll chill on missing parties, and I've heard crazy stories about Schefter. All right, there's a question here, state of the Steelers. Do y'all think next year Chase has a higher chance of getting a deal if Diontae walks, similar to AB getting a bag over Wallace? No, I don't. I think that Diontae not getting a bag, not getting a deal could be because of Chase Claypool, but I don't think that it has anything to do with what Chase Claypool has already done. I think if Chase Claypool has a fantastic season this season, I look at it like this. If you don't sign Diontae Johnson this offseason, this summer, you'd never sign Diontae Johnson. He's gone because his market value next year is going to be huge, And no matter what you do, and I saw somebody in the comments earlier say place a tender on him. Even if you do that, a team's going to sign him, and they're going to sign him for a lot of money. His market value is going to go crazy through the roof. Chase Claypool is a risk this season because you don't know how good he's going to be, or if he's just going to stay the same, and he's not worth the money if he stays the same. Year 2 to year 3 could be a big jump. We don't know, but I think that this season depends on Chase, and I guess Diontae's depends on Chase a little bit, but I think that's a risk. I don't know if the Steelers are willing to take that risk.
Yeah, I don't think they have to like coincide with each other. Like I don't think if one player gets paid, the other doesn't. You know, I think they're two separate scenarios and two separate cases. Although Diontae leaving is probably contingent on Chase Claypool and a potential emergence from him. But like at the end of the day, like just because they don't pay Diontae Johnson does not mean they're going to hand the bag over to Chase Claypool. No, I don't think so.
No, definitely not. Like you said, they can replace if they're willing to replace Diontae, they're easily willing to replace Chase. And
for sure,
Chase is easier to, as crazy as it sounds, Chase is easier to replace than Diontae Johnson. Easy, especially in today's age. There's a lot of big receivers that are just crazy physically equipped, and you could build them. And I think Chase was the beginning of that, but he hasn't panned out. And just to touch on Jeff's comment here, you have to pay 2 wide receivers 15 to 20 million. Steelers don't pay wide receivers. They would never. At that point, that's basically taking on a quarterback contract without a quarterback, with a position that doesn't win Super Bowls. Doesn't make any sense. So they wouldn't even think about it. You know, they would, if Diontae gets the bag, Chase is gone. If Diontae doesn't get the bag, Chase might stay. We'll see. All right, we're heading out of here. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk or anywhere you get your podcast. As always, go check out manscaped.com to get 20% off plus free shipping with our code All Steelers. We appreciate you. We'll be back on Thursday. Peace.